Good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. All right, children, let's continue with the chapter volumes and surface areas. We've already seen the different formulae involved for a cube and a cuboid. Let's move on. So this is another solid which is called a cylinder, which also has a uniform cross section. A cylinder. Did we finish this in the last class? No, right? Have we completed, children, cylinder, or we still to do? Not sure. Please look into your book. Okay, looks like you're not sure. All right. So let's anyways, if it's okay if it's a repetition. So a cylinder is another solid, a right circular cylinder. A right circular cylinder is another solid which has a uniform cross section, which is a circle. The uniform cross section of a right circular cylinder is a circle. So how is this solid cylinder formed? So when you have many identical circles or congruent circles, you have many congruent. That is circles which have the same radius. So you have many identical circles or congruent circles. Circle we know is a plane figure. Circle we know is a plane figure. So when you stack up many circles, when you stack up many congruent circles to any height, the solid obtained is a cylinder. When congruent circles are stacked up, are placed one over the other to any height, the solid obtained is a right circular cylinder. The uniform cross section of a right circular cylinder is a circle. And we know that volume is given by area of the uniform cross section into height. Volume is basically area into height. So area of the uniform cross section, which is a circle, into height. So volume is equal to the cross section is a circle whose area is pi r square into, let's say, h is the height of the cylinder formed, h. So pi r square into h, pi r square h cubic units is the formula or the expression which is to be used to find the volume of a right circular cylinder. Curved surface area. Curved surface area, as we defined earlier, is the perimeter of the cross section. The perimeter of the uniform cross section into height. Curved surface area is the perimeter of the uniform cross section into height. Now the cross section is a circle and the perimeter or the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r into h, height h. So 2 pi r h. Curved surface area of a right circular cylinder is given by the expression 2 pi r h square units. Area, so square units. Only the curve, the area of the curved portion. You know the cylinder is made up of one curved portion and two circles on the top. There's one circle. If it's a closed cylinder, now a tumbler is an example of an open cylinder. A tumbler is an example, a glass tumbler, cylindrical glass tumbler. Oh yeah, now this reminds me that we have finished this in the last class. Okay. I think I asked you this question. At the end of the session, I asked you this question. I did not get an answer from many of you here. So I left left you all with that question in the last class. All right. So a closed cylinder or a cylinder which is closed at both the ends has the different areas involved in this cylinder are the curved surface area. As the name suggests, you understand what is curved surface area. Then the area, there is area at the top, and then there is area at the bottom or the base. So all these three make the total surface area of a closed cylinder. Now imagine you have something, a wooden cylindrical block with you. You have a wooden cylindrical block with you. Block need not be a cube or a cuboid. Block can also be a cylindrical block. So you have a right cylindrical block of wood with you. So a block of wood, it's closed everywhere. Now, if you have to paint this up, if you have to paint up this wood, this wooden block, so that the wood is not seen anywhere. So say you have to paint it green. So now the wooden block should be completely green. You should not see the brown part of the wood anywhere. So you would be painting up the curved surface area. You would be painting up the curved surface area of the cylinder. Then you will paint the area of the top. You will paint the area which is at the top, which is a circle. So there's one circle on the top. You will paint up that area. And when you look below, there's a circle below. There's a circle below also. So these are the three different parts which make the area, the outer area of the right circular cylindrical block. There is the curved surface area. Then there is one circle on the top and one circle below. One circle on the top and one circle below. It's a solid block. So you can paint up the circle on the top and the circle below. So the formula goes like this. The total surface area is equal to curved surface area plus the area of the base plus the area of the top. So 2 pi RH plus pi r square, because area of a circle is pi r square plus pi r square. So 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r square. On taking 2 pi r common, we get 2 pi r into r plus h square units, which is the expression to find the total surface area of a right circular cylinder. So if the cylinder is open at the top, so I was telling you glass. There's the base, children. There's the base. Okay. So we know it's a tumbler. See, when the word tumbler is used, or a glass tumbler, that means it's covered below. The bottom is covered. So a glass tumbler. Let's analyze the different aspects of the tumbler. There is the curved surface area. The tumbler has the curved surface area, and it also has area at the base. There is nothing. There is a circle. You can see a circular rim on the top, the edge of the tumbler, where if you are in the habit of sipping, then the rim on the top where you sip the liquid from the tumbler. There is the circular rim, 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 but it's not covered. It's not covered. It's open. So if you have to paint it, there's no area to be painted there because it's open at the top. There is a circular portion, but it's open. So where will you paint? You will have to just paint in the air. You will not. So there's no. It's not covered. So supposing you have a circular tumbler, cylindrical. So you have a right cylindrical tumbler made of glass. So when the word tumbler or glass is used, that means it's open at the top. It's open at the top. So it need not be mentioned that a cylindrical tumbler open at the top. That's not needed. Because tumbler means it's open at the top. So when the word tumbler or a glass tumbler or whatever is used, you understand that it's open at the top. So if you have to paint up the outside of this tumbler, the outside, you want to paint up the tumbler from the outside. So you will have to run the brush all along the curved surface area and the circle which is at the bottom, and the circle which is at the bottom, and the circle which is at the bottom. There is no circle on the top, it's open. There's no circle on the top. So you have to generate the formula. So these are the standard ones: volume, curved surface area, and total surface area. So if the cylinder under consideration is a tumbler, then the area to be painted will be the CSA, which is 2 pi RH, plus only one circle. So plus pi r square, plus pi r square. See, you find it separately. It's not that you have to take something common and, bring the formula like that. You can find, so how do we, if we have to answer this question, what is the total area to be painted? What is the total area of the glass tumbler to be painted? Children, I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you have to find the total area to be painted, then it will be the curved surface area plus the area of the base. Base is a circle, so pi r square. Find this separately. Find the curved surface area separately, meaning you'll have to put the values of r and h. R and h. Find this answer. Supposing r is 2, h is also 2, for example. So it will be 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 pi. It will be 8 pi. Just for example. Okay. And now r is 2, right? So r is 2. So 2 square 4 pi. 4 pi is the 4 pi. You can use the value 22/7. I'm not using it. I'm finding this in pi and this also in pi. So the area here is 2 pi and here it's 4 pi. So the total, see, this is the total surface area of the tumbler. The word, you should not be misled with the word total. See, when we say, when we are talking about the tumbler, 12 pi is the total surface area of the tumbler. But when we use the term total surface area, it doesn't mean that we have to use this formula. This is the total surface area of a cylinder whose base and top is covered. Now, supposing you have a question like this, find the, so this glass, okay, it's about this glass tumbler. Write the formula, write the expression you would use, to find the total surface area of the glass tumbler. So don't write this formula because it is total surface area. It's not this formula. This is the total surface area of a cylinder whose base and top is covered, where you can paint the base and paint the top. There is circle below, there is circle on the top. It's the total surface area of such a cylinder. But this cylinder, which is a tumbler, a cylindrical tumbler, yes, there is CSA, of course. Cylinder cannot exist without CSA, without the curved surface area. Cylinder cannot exist. A cylinder cannot exist without the curved surface area. Maybe the circles at the top and bottom are missing. Maybe the circles at the top and bottom are missing. It's still a cylinder. When you roll, you have a rectangle with you, and you fold it, you roll it, you bring the breadths together or the lengths together. Simply fold it like that, bringing the breadths or the lengths together. So you can see through that, no? It looks like a pipe, paper, notebook, paper, rectangle, fold, bringing the breadths or the lengths together, and you can just see it. You can see through, meaning the two circular ends are open. The two circular ends, and 1 minute, the two circular ends are open. So a cylinder can exist without the two circles. That is, only the rim will be formed. You can see the circles, but there's no material covered there for the circles. but CSA is always there. So the curved, sorry, the total surface area, see that total surface area of a glass tumbler. And whenever we say surface area, we include only one area, either the inside area or outside area. You should not find both. If they want you to find, if the question is find the, the total area of the glass from inside and outside, then you have to do it 2 times. Then you have to find the area inside and outside. Otherwise surface area means only once, either outside or inside. If nothing is mentioned, either inside or outside. You shouldn't find it 2 times. So the curved surface area, which is 2 pi r h, plus the area of the base, which is pi r squared. This is the expression you would use to find the total surface area of a glass tumbler, cylindrical glass tumbler. Yes, I don't know who that was. Please come with your question.
Well, if it is as a tumbler, you must use the formula as 2 pi r height plus pi r square, ma'am.
What did I say?
Ma'am, I forgot I joined in later only.
Class, use the emoji, raise your hand. Tarun, Chennai, are you there? Okay, you're trying to say something, but I'm not able to hear you. Fine.
Yes, ma'am, I am there, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, Pranav Rajan, please tell me the expression again.
Ma'am, 2 pi r height plus pi r square, ma'am. That we must use if it is a tumbler, ma'am.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now tell me, what is the total surface area of a cylinder? See, when we're talking about a cylinder, we are talking about a right circular cylinder. So what is the total surface area of a cylinder which is open at both the ends?
Ma'am, pi r height plus 2 pi r height, ma'am.
2 pi r h. If it's open at both the ends, that means there is only the curved surface area. There are circles on the top and bottom, but there is no material used there. There is no wood or there is no paper or there is no material used. The top and bottom, they're not covered. You can only see circular, the rims, 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 edges. You can find circular edges, but you don't see any material which covers the circular portions. So when you have to write the expression to find the total surface area of a cylinder which is open at both the ends, the total surface area is nothing but the curved surface area. Just because the word total is used, it doesn't mean it's this formula. Never be deceived by that word total. Look at the cylinder under consideration. Total is of that cylinder which is considered. It's not this general formula. This is the formula where the circles are covered. That is, the cylinder is a solid cylinder. 2 pi r. See that what all we are adding. We are adding the, we consider the curved surface area, the area of the base, the area of the top. All this put together is 2 pi r into r plus h. But if one circle is absent, don't add this. One circle is absent, then don't add this. 2 pi RH plus pi r square, like in the case of a tumbler. Now there is a cylinder like the pipes which are used for plumbing purpose. PIPES, not tap. I'm not saying taps. I'm saying the pipes. Sometimes taps are mentioned as pipes. No, I'm not saying about taps. PIPES, pipe, plumbing pipes. So those pipes are open at both ends. The pipes are open at both ends. The term pipe itself is referred to a cylinder which is open at both ends. Remember that. The term pipe, when the word pipe is used in mathematics, it's understood that it's open at both ends. You should not ask, is it open at both ends, or is it closed at both ends, or is one end open and the other end closed? No. The term pipe is used to refer to a cylinder which is open at both the ends. Pipe is a cylinder. Pipe is a cylinder which is open at both the ends. You can see from one end, you can see through the other end. So the total surface area of this pipe will be simply 2 pi RH. It's equal to the curved surface area, which is 2 pi RH, which is 2 pi RH. Tumbler means it's open at the top. Tumbler will be open at the top. It will definitely be covered below. Otherwise, how will it hold water? The tumbler means it will be open at the top and it is covered at the bottom. Only then it can hold some liquid. Pipe means it's open at both ends. So you should read the description of the cylinder carefully. You should read the description of the cylinder carefully. So what we have discussed here, now supposing this cylinder is a cylinder which is open at both ends. Supposing this is a cylinder open at both ends. We are now discussing about a cylinder whose thickness of the wall is so negligible that the inner radius is equal to the outer radius. This is the thickness of the rim. We are talking, so far we've been talking about a cylinder. Now a cylinder has a wall, right? The wall of the cylinder, the wall of the cylinder. So the wall of the cylinder is so thin that you can almost ignore the thickness. The wall, see now when the wall is thick. Now, for example, can you think of a sellotape roll? Can you think about a sellotape roll?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now in this roll, don't you think now in this is a cylinder? A sellotape roll is a cylinder which is open at both the ends. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a cylinder whose height is very. It's not a very tall cylinder. Or if you consider the sellotape roll which is used to pack carton boxes, that is pretty tall. The ones which we use for school is a cylinder whose height is small. But if you've seen the brown sellotapes, brown colored sellotapes, so when you receive a courier, you can see broad brown sellotapes are used to pack the parcels. Yeah, so if you see the roll, you know, the sellotape roll, a new one, it's a cylinder. It's a cylinder which is open at both ends. But what you see there is the wall of the cylinder is thick. The wall of the cylinder will be thick. That means the inner radius is smaller than the outer radius. The inner is smaller than the outer radius. Yeah, I wanted you to visualize first. That's why I didn't show you this figure. See here. This is the inner radius. These are two concentric circles. These are two concentric circles. This is one circle on the inside, and this is the circle on the outside. On the outside. This is, you can imagine this to be a sellotape roll, you know. It looked like this. It looked like this. It's empty. It's open at the top and bottom. But the wall, this is what I'm saying, the wall. I'm saying this one as the wall. This is the wall of the sellotape. It's thick. The wall of the cylinder is thick. Now, from the center to this point is the inner radius. From the same center to this point is the outer radius. Definitely, the inner radius is smaller than the outer radius. So when will this happen? When will you get two values for R? When will you have this concept of inner radius and outer radius? Only when the wall of the cylinder is thick. You cannot ignore this thickness. It's pretty thick. You cannot ignore this thickness. Maybe if the inside radius, so maybe if this is say 3 centimeters, from this figure, this can easily be 2 centimeters, easily. So the outer radius will be 5 centimeters. That is, if this is the inner radius 3 centimeters, if this is the inner radius 3 centimeters, if this is the inner radius 3 centimeters, the thickness of the cylinder says 2 centimeters. You cannot ignore the thickness. 2 centimeters is measured. When can you ignore? When it is so thin that, you know, it's so difficult to find how much it measures. That is what is negligible. Negligible is not that you are very, you know, you are very broad-minded and you know, like it's okay, let it go. It's not that. It's not that negligible. Negligible means it's so small that it cannot. Meaning it's so small that you can ignore that thickness. So here you can measure this. You can measure this thickness. It's 2 centimeters. So then the outer radius should be the inner radius R plus the thickness, which is normally called W. Normally called W is the capital R. Is the capital R.
Ma'am,
So yes.
ma'am, the question they will say that it is negligible or not, ma'am.
I have a small request, Pranav Rajan. Let me finish what I have to say because I lose my chain of thoughts.
Sorry.
Yeah, you please wait for me to finish. You can make a note of the question you have in your mind, and you can definitely ask me how many other questions you want at the end of the discussion of this particular topic, meaning cylinder. Very sorry. It's my problem because I lose my chain of thoughts. I forget all that I tell you. All right. Yeah, thank you. So here, if you see this cylinder, I told you this kind of looks like a sellotape roll. Now the sellotape roll is hollow. Hollow meaning it's open at both ends. It's open at both ends, and you can see that the wall of the roll is thick. This is a cylinder. The wall of the cylinder is thick. So the radius is, this is the center. You should agree that this is the center of the inner and the outer circle because the circles will be concentric circles. They'll have the same center but different radii. Two or more circles that have the same center but different radii are called concentric circles. Two circles that have the same center but different radii, one small, one big, are called concentric circles. So now these are two concentric circles. This is the inner radius referred to by the letter small r, and the thickness is usually referred by denoted by the letter W, and the capital R, or what is this? The outer radius. Outer radius. Somebody's mic is active. Please disable your mic. All right. So we have smaller. So this is inner radius denoted by the letter small letter r. This is the width. This is the width or the thickness of the wall of the cylinder, which is referred or denoted by the letter W, small letter w. R plus W is equal to capital R, which is the outer radius, So we'll see this in detail when we take up a cylindrical shell or a hollow cylinder. We'll take up this in detail. But one thing I want to tell you is that now tell me if I say R minus R is equal to what? Tell me. Use these letters and complete these equations. Use the letters R, R and W and complete these equations. R minus R is equal to what is capital R minus small r?
Ma'am, bottom plus, ma'am, top minus base, ma'am.
Sorry?
Top minus base, ma'am.
No. What will be capital R?
Internal volume minus external volume.
No. What is the value of capital R minus the volume of value of small r? What will you get when you subtract capital R minus small r?
Ma'am, 0.
Oh, that means you're saying both the radius will be the same. Huh? The outer radius and the inner radius will be the same.
No, ma'am, then it will be.
Yeah.
The value of
A minus B.
No, use the letters. The letters are there. R, R and W. R minus R. Is it 1, 0? What is it?
half of R, ma'am.
No. Now, supposing capital R is this one says 5 centimeters, and this one is, for example, 4 centimeters. So, what is 5 minus 4?
1, ma'am.
Yeah, what does that 1 represent?
Ma'am,
The total area of the ring, ma'am, circular ring.
No.
ma'am, the area of the ring, which is minus the smaller ring minus the bigger ring, ma'am.
No.
Ma'am, W.
Please come again.
Ma'am, is that W, ma'am?
Deepika, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Deepika, you're right. It represents W, the thickness of the wall. It represents the thickness of the wall. Now, what is the inner radius plus the thickness? What will this give you? If to the inner radius you add the thickness, what will you get?
Outer radius, ma'am.
Outer radius. Now, how can you express small r in terms of R and W? Using R and W, how will you write small r?
Ma'am, R plus W is equal to small r.
Oh, capital R plus W, is it? Plus W will give you small r. Capital R, imagine, see the figure there. Capital R, you should add W and you will get a small r. How is it possible?
Ma'am,
Capital
R minus W.
Capital R?
Minus W, ma'am, is equal
Minus
to the
W.
small r, ma'am.
Minus W is equal to smaller. Minus W is equal to smaller. Capital R minus the thickness. See here, this is the capital R. From here to here is capital R. This full thing is capital R. This is capital R. Please watch this. This is capital R. Outer radius, capital R. From this, if you remove the thickness, if you subtract W, oh, I think the whole thing will go away. Yeah. This is capital R. From capital R, see, take away W, remove this, minus W meaning you're removing this. This is not there now. This is not there. So you're left with small r. See it, you're left with small r. You're left with small r. Very easy to imagine, visualize. Now, supposing you have this is capital R. This is capital R. From capital R, if you subtract small r, that is you're subtracting this, you're removing. Subtracting means you're taking away. You're removing the small r. This is not there. From capital R, you're removing small r. What are you left with?
Ma'am, capital R. Ma'am, capital R, ma'am.
No. I'll show you again. This is capital R. From this, if you take away the inner radius, if you subtract the inner radius, you are left with this. What is this?
Ma'am, we get W.
We get W. We get W. So you can, the relation between R and W can be written in many ways. R minus R is equal to W. You can just rub it. You can draw arrays and see here. See, this is capital R. From this, if you take away, that is you are rubbing out this one. You're taking away inner radius. You're left with W is equal to W. That's the first thing. Or to the inner radius. To the inner radius, if you add W, what will you get? If you add this, what will you get? To the inner radius, you are adding the width. What does that give you?
Ma'am, capital R.
Capital R. So R plus W is equal to capital R. Now, supposing from the outer radius, you're subtracting the width. From the outer radius, you're subtracting the width. You will get
Small r.
small r. See, you can see that you're left with only small. You just draw this. You use a pencil, draw the radius, draw this outer radius, use an eraser, subtract this. Subtract means rub this. Rub this. You are left with what? You are left with only this, which is a small r. So cylinder will have two cases where the wall has accountable amount of thickness. Accountable amount meaning the wall is thick. You cannot ignore the thickness. It is thick. You can measure it. That is when we have 2 R's. Only when the wall, that material which is used. Now in the case of a sellotape, the wall is thick. So there are 3 things there. There is inner radius, there is thickness, there is outer radius, and the height of the sellotape. There is inner radius, there is thickness. The wall has some thickness, so W is present. So since the wall is thick, the wall of the sellotape or the wall of the cylinder is thick, there is capital R also, and there is only one height. The cylinder will have only one height. But supposing the cylinder, the wall of the cylinder is very thin, it's very, very thin. See, very, very thin meaning the inner radius is almost equal to the outer radius. In that case, the inner radius, very, very thin meaning the inner radius is almost equal to the outer radius. The wall is very thin. You can ignore the thickness of the wall. So that is the case where both the R's, if at all you want to take 2 R's, both are the same. Both will have the same value. So we'll have only 1 R in the formula there. So in the formula, we'll have only 1 R when the wall of the cylinder is very thin. Then we'll have only 1 R. We'll have 2 R's in the formula when the wall of the cylinder is thick. there is inner radius, there is outer radius. Then we'll have 2 R's. If there's only one radius, that is when the wall is thin. Then you can either use small r or capital R. Both are the same. But when the wall is thick, then we say small r and capital R. Small r being the inner radius, capital R being the outer radius. So here, when we learn the formulae, in this case, it's a solid cylinder. That is, the top is covered, the bottom is covered. It's a closed cylinder. So when it's a closed cylinder, you can only measure one radius from here to here. It's a closed one. The wall, you cannot measure the thickness because you cannot see the wall. Just see, this all left your imagination, your visualization. Imagine a cylindrical block of wood. Where is the wall in it? Meaning you cannot see the wall. It's completely covered. Top and bottom, they're covered. Your unsharpened pencil. Okay, so an unsharpened pencil is cylindrical. Okay, if the curved surface area is made up of flat sides, ignore it. Okay, just imagine a very simple pencil, which is usually cylindrical. Then the wall has no thickness. There is no wall. It's covered at the top. It's covered at the bottom. There is no wall there. You can only see a solid cylinder. Yeah. So now you should have understood, and you should understand better when we take up the numerical situations from the exercises in NCERT, R.D. Sharma, and Agarwal. When we do work all of that, it should be super clear that you don't have to prepare for this chapter. It's just formula based and it's so practical. It's very practical. Whatever object is spoken about in the question, you can visualize the object. So, giving to the nature of the chapter, it's a very simple one. You just have to understand the formulae correctly. So I give more importance or I spend more time discussing the formulae because this is the the fundamental or the most important part of the chapter. So when you take this clearly, I think you can handle any numerical situation. Yes, help is needed. You cannot do the chapter by yourself, but you can understand very easily. If you have understood the formulae clearly, it's a very simple chapter. It's a lengthy chapter, but very simple. Yes, children, now it's time for you to ask me questions. I think I stopped somebody. Somebody wanted to ask something. Please ask me now. Class, lower your hand. Class, lower your hand. Lower your hand, Nivedita, Pratiksha, Tarun. No questions, children? Yeah.
Both pencil has outer and first every object which has a circle, no ma'am, on the top
Yeah.
has even 0.1 centimeter, no ma'am, as a area.
When you calculate When you measure it, it will be so negligible, some 0.00001 centimeter, that you can ignore it. That's all. It's very small. That is, including that is not going to bring a big difference in the volume or area. That's what it means. Including that is not going to bring a big difference in the volume or a big difference. Oh, should I ignore that? So my volume is very small. It's wrong. It's not like that. So the thickness is so, yes, you're right. That is, you can, there are instruments to measure very, very thin or very small values also. But when we say it's negligible, it means in mathematics that the value, it's not, if you included it, you would have got 100, but because you didn't include, you got 50. That difference or variation will not be there. So your answer will be like, say, 99.5. If you include it, maybe you will get 99.8. So it's like, doesn't make much of a difference.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Yeah. If the shopkeeper, if now supposing, you go to a shop, you buy a toffee, all right, the toffee costs 20 rupees. But supposing the shopkeeper charges you 21 rupees. Okay. And then you notice on the cover of the chocolate, you notice it's only 20 rupees. So you ask him, it's only 20, the mark price, the MRP is 20, but you've charged me 21. Will you fight with him for that? Will that lead to, should that lead to a big argument? No, 1 rupees. No, at least in today's, keeping in mind today's cost of living, 1 rupee is a very small amount. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what we mean by saying negligible. So if it was 20 rupees and he charged you 200 rupees, then I'm not asking you to argue. That's a different thing. You cannot ignore it. You cannot ignore it. It is 20 and he says 200. You cannot ignore that. But if it is 20 rupees, but by mistake he's asked you 21, you gave him 1 rupee extra. You will not charge him for that. You will not get into an argument for that. So that 1 rupee is negligible. It's okay. It's okay. So that's what we mean. You can ignore, meaning there is a difference. When you include it, it will be slightly more, but it's okay. You can ignore it. That's what it is.
Understood, ma'am.
All right. Do you think a cone has a uniform cross section? Can you arrange many identical things and get a cone? Like you can arrange congruent squares of side A to a height of A units and get a cube. You can arrange congruent rectangles to any height. You can stack them to any height and get a cuboid. Similarly, congruent circles, when you stack up, you get a cylinder. So like that, is there any plane figure? And you have many of them. You have many such plane figures and you stack it up to get a cone. Is it possible? Okay, if it's possible, let me know, but it is not possible. So a right circular cone does not have a uniform cross section. It doesn't have, so the circles must be of a reducing radius. The circles, so maybe you can think like this. So you have many circles whose radius decrease by a small value, small uniform value. So when you stack that up, it will look like a cone. Well, a cone does not have a uniform cross section, Now, this is a cylinder of radius R and H. If you have a cone of the same radius and same height, then the volume of the cone will be 1/3 of the volume of this. So supposing, okay, let me come again. I think I was fast. Now this is a cylinder. What you see here is a cylinder of radius R and height H. What you see on your screen is a cylinder of radius R and height H. Supposing the volume, you find the volume, radius, height was given to you, you find the volume, and it comes out to be 300 centimeter cubed. 300 centimeter cubed. The volume is 300 centimeter cubed. Now there is a cone. There is a cone of the same radius and same height. Same radius, same height. It's a cone. It's not a cylinder. It's a cone of the same radius and height. The volume of that cone will be 100 centimeter cubed. It will be 1/3 of 300. It will be 1/3 of 300. It will be 1/3 of. If a cone, it will be 1/3 of 300, which is 100. If a cone and a cylinder, if a cone and a cylinder have the same radius and height, if a cone and a cylinder have the same radius and height, then the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So there's a cylinder of radius R and height H. There is a cone of the same radius and same height, same radius R, same radius H. Then the volume of the cone will be 1/3, 1/3 of the volume of the cylinder. So for the cylinder, if it is 600 centimeter cube, then cone will be 1/3 into 600, 200 centimeter cube. That is 3 pi r square H. 1/3 of the volume of the cylinder. Volume of the cylinder is pi r square H. Volume of cylinder is pi r square H. The volume of a cylinder of radius R and height H. So supposing you have a conical, I can't say tumbler, okay, conical container, okay? You have a conical container. Class, use the emoji, raise your hand. Shreyas. Are you there, Shreyas? Nivedita, are you there? Nivedita. So supposing you have a what was it telling? Yeah. Okay. So you have a cylindrical container and a conical container. You have a cylindrical container of say radius 7 and height 14. You have a cylindrical container of radius 7 and height 14. You also have a conical container of the same radius 7 and same height 14. You have a conical container of the same radius 7 and same height 14. Now, if you have to fill the cylindrical container with water using the conical container, if you have to fill the cylindrical container with water using the conical container, then you'll probably reach to the tap, open the tap, fill the conical container with water, you'll pour it once, full. Meaning you should fill the conical container completely with water, not half, not little and all that, fully with water. Pour it into the cylindrical container. Then again you will have to fill the conical container with water to the brim. Pour it into the cylindrical container. Again you will have to fill the conical container with water to the brim. And now the third time when you pour the water into the cylindrical container, the water will come to the brim of the cylindrical container. The water will come to the brim of the cylindrical container, meaning you will need to fill it with water 3 times. Water from the conical container must be poured 3 times to fill the cylindrical container in full. 1/3. That's what is 1/3. Or the volume of the cylinder is 3 times the volume of the cone of the same radius and height. Volume of cylinder radius r height h is equal to 3 times the volume of a cone of the same radius and height. Children, am I clear? Do we understand?
Ma'am, can you repeat this around again, ma'am?
Okay, sure. Now as I say, you need to imagine, all right? You have a cylindrical container, cylindrical drum, cylindrical container. No, drum is too huge. Cylindrical container. All right, Deepika?
No, ma'am, it was me, Kanishka.
Kanishka, okay. Kanishka, you have a cylindrical container, okay? A cylindrical
Okay,
vessel.
ma'am.
Okay. You also have a conical vessel. Ice cream cone, ice cream, yeah, like that. You have a conical vessel, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now both the cylinder and the cone, they have the same radius and height. That is what is very important. Both the cylinder and the cone have the same radius and same height, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Now both are empty. The cylinder is empty, the cone is empty, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Now the task is to fill the cylinder completely with water.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now you have to fill water using the cone 3 times completely. So 3 times you'll have to completely fill the cone with water, and when you pour it into the cylinder, it will become completely full. You pour it using the cone. You have to fill the cylinder using the cone. You will have to fill water into the cylinder using the cone. So when you pour,
Okay, ma'am.
yeah, when you pour the water, you should completely fill the cone with water once. Pour it into the cylinder. Again, fill the cone completely with water for the second time. Pour it into the cylinder. Now for the third time, fill the cone completely with water and pour it into the cylinder. You will see that the cylinder is completely filled with water. There is no more space for you to pour water into the cylinder. This explains that the volume of the cylinder is 3 times the volume of the cone, both being of the same radius and height.
Okay, ma'am, understood.
No, don't say that half-mindedly, please. If you don't understand, let me just not repeat it now, but a little later.
No,
You're sure
ma'am, it's clear, understood.
Okay. That's why we have the formula like this. Volume of the cone is 1/3. What is pi r square h? Volume of cylinder. This is volume of cylinder. This is volume of cylinder. All right. So that's about volume. Next, curved surface area. Now, before that, when it comes to a cone, you know, we need to understand the meaning of these three letters: L, H, and R. H, as you understand, is the height of the cone. R is the radius of the cone. What do you see in the when you look at the cone, you can see the curved surface area of the cone and the area of the circle below. The cone is made up of these two areas, the curved surface area and the area of the circle. Curved surface area is this area. Curved surface area, this one is a curved surface area. All this is the curved surface area. All this. This is the area of the circle below. There's not an oval. It's a circle. If you lift and see, it's a circle. So the total surface area of a cone. Now, when this cone is a solid cone, that is, it's covered. The circular portion is covered with material. It's not the cone like in an ice cream cone. Ice cream cone, it's open at the top. Ice cream cone is open at the top. From which it's from there they fill ice cream into the cone. Ice cream cone is open at the top. Now when so we just celebrated Diwali, right? So the flower pot we burst during Diwali festival. The flower pot, the solid cone, the flower pot. It has some color paper, no, on this blue color, red color paper. And then
Yes,
this is the wick. Yeah, this is the wick. And you bring a sparkler. You bring a sparkler near this. So this one catches a little amount of fire and then it pours out, sparkles, right? Okay, all of you know that. So that flower pot is an example of a solid cone. That flower pot is an example of a solid cone. Because it's not, okay, you compare a flower pot and an ice cream cone. Compare a flower pot. I told you, this is a night cracker which is burned during Diwali, not flower pot, not the flower pot. I'm not talking about the flower pot. So this is usually the drawing, no? First standard, second standard children normally draw a flower pot like this. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the cracker, the night cracker. So this is a solid cone. This night cracker is a solid cone. So supposing, let's don't try all that. But supposing you'll have to paint it up all over. You'll have to paint the curved surface area, the curved portion here, and the bottom, that circle also at the bottom, that also should be painted because it's covered, it's completely packed. So you can paint that also. So a solid cone has two areas, that is the curved surface area and the area of one circle, which is pi r square. The area of one circle, which is pi r square. A solid, excuse me, a solid cone. A solid cone, when I say solid cone, the base is also packed. This one is also packed. So when you look at a solid cone, it has two areas. One is the curved surface area and the other is the area of the base. area of the base. Base is circle, so area is pi r square. And this one, the curved surface area is pi rl. Pi rl. Now let's see all the formulae. We understood this. Volume is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder of the same radius and height. So 1/3 pi r square h. Yeah, I was telling you about L, H, and R, children. So R is the radius of the circle. Height is the height of the cone. When we say height, it's the perpendicular height. Slant height is this height. This is the slant height of the cone. When we take up these three line segments, they form a right circular cylinder. When we take up these three line segments, it forms a right circular cylinder. When you take up the line segment that represents the height of the cone, and when you take up the line segment that represents the radius, so many line segments are there. See, this is the radius, this is the radius. There's many. So this is one thing. This height is only one height. This is the perpendicular height of the cone. This is only one line segment. Slant height also, you can take it different places on the curved surface area. The perpendicular height is only one line segment. You can take any radius. According to that, you can take the slant height. So consider this perpendicular height, radius, the line segment that represents radius, and this line segment that represents the slant height of the cone. These three form a right triangle. These three form a right triangle. These three are the sides of the right triangle where the slant height represents the hypotenuse. The slant height represents the hypotenuse. So Pythagoras theorem holds good here. Pythagoras theorem holds good. The square on the hypotenuse, L square, is equal to h square plus r square. H square plus r square. The square on the hypotenuse, L square, is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, h square plus r square. So we have L is equal to root of h square plus r square units. Curved surface area is given by the formula pi RL, where L is the slant height. L is the slant height of the cone. Curved surface area is pi RL, square units, because area, square units. Pi is 22/7. Pi is a constant, 22/7. R radius will be given to you. L, if it is not given, you should find using this expression root of h square plus r square. Because L, H, and R represents a side of a right triangle. They go to form the sides of a right triangle. So L square is equal to h square plus r square. L is equal to root of h square plus r square. Curved surface area is given by the formula pi RL, R radius, L slant height. If not given, you should find using the expression root of h square plus r square. Total surface area. Total surface area is the curved surface area plus the area of the base. Total surface area is curved CSA plus area of one base, only one base. The other end is a fine point. This is the vertex of the cone. That's a fine point. That's a fine point. So only one circle is there. In a cylinder, two circles. In a cone, only one circle. So area of base. And base is circle. So curved surface area pi RL plus area of base pi r square. If you take common, pi r common. If you take pi r common, pi r into L plus r. Pi r is common. Pi r L. Sorry. Pi r is common. Pi r is common. See, this is pi r is common. Pi r is common, so there will be one r left. So L plus r. L plus r. Or you can also say pi r into r plus L. pi r into r plus L. That's all the fine. L plus r plus L. Fine. Pi r into r plus L. Square units. Area is always expressed in square units, volume in cubic units. If it's simply length, units. Now, if you see slant height, that's only length. You can measure it using a scale. Area you cannot measure using a scale. Meaning you can measure the length, breadth, but the area you cannot use a scale and measure the area in one shot. 2-dimensional square units, 3-dimensional cubic units, 1-dimensional like the slant height. You can use a scale and measure the slant height. 1-dimensional units, simply units. Simply units. That's all, children. So volume, curved surface area, pi RL, total surface area, pi r into r plus L or L plus r. Any questions, children?
No, ma'am.
All right. Sphere, you know, spherical, anything spherical is called a sphere. For a sphere, the curved surface area and the total surface area, you cannot differentiate. You cannot make out, you cannot differentiate between the curved surface area and the total surface area. The entire thing is surface area. So whether it is curved or total, it's the same in the case of a sphere. In the case of a sphere, total surface area, curved surface area, both are the same. You cannot differentiate between CSA and TSA. And that's given by the formula 4 pi r square, 4 pi r square, 4 pi r square square units. And the volume is given by the formula 4 by 3 pi r cubed. 4 by 3 pi r cubed, cubic units, volume cubic units, area square units. 4 by 3 pi r cubed, cubic units. TSA is 4 pi r square or CSA is 4 pi r square. It's the same. Now tell me, what is the height of the cone? Oh, sorry, what will be the height of the sphere? What's the height of the sphere?
Diameter.
Diameter. So how can you,
Diameter.
what letter used to represent the diameter? What's the letter used to represent the diameter?
T.
D. In terms of R, how will you represent the diameter in terms of R?
2
D
r.
by 2, ma'am.
2R. 2R. Very good. 2R. So the height of the sphere is equal to 2R units. Height of the sphere. Height of the sphere is equal to its diameter. Height of the sphere is equal to its diameter. And height is equal, so height is equal to diameter D. That means height is equal to twice radius. Twice radius. So you can see this is the height of the sphere. This is the height of the sphere. This is the height of the sphere. So from here to here it's R. And from here to here it's R. So 2R, the height of the sphere is 2R units. The height of a sphere is equal to 2R units. Half of a sphere is a hemisphere. Half of a sphere is a hemisphere. Now, when you consider a football is an example of a hollow sphere because there's only air inside. There's only air inside. A football is an example of a hollow sphere. Because there's only air inside. That's a hollow sphere. It's a sphere, but it's a hollow sphere because there's no material inside. It's hollow. It's filled with air. But when you consider the cork ball, which is used to play cricket, the cork ball, this one is a solid sphere. All right. Class, lower your hand. Tarun Ishwaran, lower your hand. Tarun Ishwaran, lower your hand. Okay, you're trying to say something. I can't hear you. All right. All right. So I was telling you about a cork ball and a football. A cork ball. In the inside also, the material is filled. It's a tight one. There is no air inside. A cork ball is an example of a solid sphere. Solid sphere. A cork ball is an example of a solid sphere because in the inside also there is no air. It's filled with that material inside. And half of a cork ball is what you see here. What you see here is the representation of half of a cork ball. So it's a solid hemisphere. What you see here is a solid hemisphere. What you see here is a solid hemisphere. That means the top is also covered. Like imagine exactly half of a laddu. A laddu is a perfect sphere. A laddu is an example of a solid sphere. half of it is a solid hemisphere because it's tightly packed. The circle on the top is packed completely. It's not like a bowl. A cork ball is a solid sphere. Half of it is a solid hemisphere. A football is an example of a hollow sphere. Hollow because inside it's air. There's no material inside. It's air inside. So hollow sphere. Now we can't take half of it because when you take half of it, it's going to crumple. It's not going to have the shape of a sphere. Correct? So I'm not saying half of a football because the air, when it comes out, then it does not assume any definite shape. So we'll take a bowl. Suddenly we switch to a different example. So we'll take a bowl, you know. Imagine a bowl which is perfectly hemispherical. Perfectly hemispherical. Hemispherical bowl. Bowl will, like a tumbler, a bowl is open at the top. When we say bowl, you can cover it with a lid. You can cover it with a lid, but when we say bowl, like when we say tumbler, open at the top. Tumbler is open at the top. Bowl will be open at the top. And a bowl assumes a hemispherical shape. Now, don't tell me you have a bowl at your house which is of a different shape. So bowl normally hemispherical. Imagine a bowl which is hemispherical. Imagine a bowl which is hemispherical. So what is the difference between the hemisphere obtained from half of a cork ball? What is the difference between the hemisphere obtained from half of a cork ball and this bowl? In the bowl, the top circular portion is open. You can fill it with some liquid. It's open. There's no material there. That circular portion, there is no material. But when you take half of a cork ball, on the top you can paint. There's material. All over you can paint this half. You can paint half of the cork ball. So if this is half of a cork ball, you can paint it here. Here you can. This is the curved surface area. You can paint all over here. You can paint. This is the curved surface area, which is 2 pi r square, whose area is 2 pi r square. And this is the area of the circle on the top. You can paint here also because it's half of a cork ball, right? So you can paint this also. This one area is pi r square. This one, it's a circle. So area pi r square. So total surface area is 2 pi r square plus pi r square, which is 3 pi r square. Volume is 2 by 3 pi r cube. That was 4 by 3 pi r cube. Here 4 by 3 pi r cube. So hemisphere will be half of this. 4 by 3 pi r cube. Hemisphere, so half of it. Half of 4 by 3 pi r cube. 2 ones are, 2 twos are. So 2 by 3. 2 by 3 pi r cube. Show you again. Sphere, volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Hemisphere is half of it. So it will have half the volume. Half of 4 by 3 pi r cube. Two by 3 pi r cube. 2 by 3 pi r cube. Volume is equal to 2 by 3 pi r cube, cubic units. Curved surface area, that is only this portion. Curved surface area, only this portion is 2 pi r square. Total surface area will be 2 pi r square plus the area of the circle plus pi r square, which is 3 pi r square square units. But if you have to paint up a steel bowl, hemispherical bowl, okay, you have a steel hemispherical bowl like this. hemispherical bowl like this. Suppose you have to paint it on the outside. You can paint only this one. You can paint only here. All this portion, on the outside you can paint. So that means you'll be painting only 2 pi r square. You'll be painting only 2 pi r square. You want to paint the top, but there is no circle on the, you can see a circular outline, but there's no material there to paint. What will you paint on the top here? The circle, inside the circle, there is nothing. It's open. So the total area, so now when you have a hemispherical bowl, hemispherical bowl open at the top, the total area outside that can be painted, the total area, see the word used, total area outside that can be painted is 2 pi r square. Because only the curved surface area can be painted. Only the curved surface area can be painted, which is 2 pi r square. Only the curved surface area can be painted, which is 2 pi r square. But if it is a cork ball, if it is half of a cork ball, then you can paint. You can paint here. You can paint the CSA, which is 2 pi r square. You can also paint up this portion on the top, pi r square. You can also paint up this one, pi r square, on the top. See, I'm not painting it because I'm saying the curved surface area. Okay, this one also will be covered actually, curved surface area. So it's 2 pi r square. It's 2 pi r square plus pi r square, which is 3 pi r square. So you should have got the difference between a solid sphere, example cork ball, a laddu, hollow sphere, which is empty inside. There's no material inside. It's filled with air, hollow, it's filled with air. Example football. Half of a solid sphere, half of a cork ball is a solid hemisphere. Solid hemisphere. A steel bowl. A steel bowl is an example of a hollow hemisphere. Hollow hemisphere. So hollow hemisphere means it will be open at the top. Hollow, no, so it will be open at the top. The circular portion will be open. But when we say solid hemisphere, the circular portion is covered, is closed. So if you have to find volume of a hemisphere, 2 by 3 pi r cube. Curved surface area alone, 2 pi r square. Total surface area is 2 pi r square plus pi r square, 3 pi r square. And one very important thing is, what's the height? What is the height of a hemisphere equal to? Height of hemisphere is equal to, what's the height of a sphere?
Diameter.
Yeah, h is equal to 2r. H is equal to 2r in the case of a sphere. In the case of a sphere, h is equal to 2r. In the case of a hemisphere, h is equal to r.
R.
R, yeah, h is equal to r. Whatever is the height of the, whatever is the radius of the hemisphere will be the height. That's very important. Remember this. Height of a sphere is equal to 2r. Height of a hemisphere is equal to r. In case you have not taken screenshots, I'll just show you one by one. Take pictures in case you haven't.
Yes, ma'am.
All actually. So in today's class, I did not give you time to write down the notes in the book. I'm just leaving you a few minutes early. Please complete it, children. You will forget otherwise. Now it's fresh in your mind. The learning is fresh in your mind. So before it fades away, please make a note. Maybe you can come finish dinner and complete writing the formulae in your notebook. All right.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Please complete all the pictures you've taken today. Please write out everything in your tuition notebook and be ready for the next class.
Yeah,
All
ma'am.
right, children.
Okay,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank
So
you.
that's it for
Thank
today's
you,
session.
ma'am.
Thank you, children. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
children.
you,
Good
ma'am.
night. Thank you. Good night.